Hello, hello. This is the 170th Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2224, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. And this day, we're talking about a very special topic. Mm-hmm. It's not a technology topic.
No, it's a society topic, I guess.
Society topic. Yeah.
21st century society topic for our listeners in the 21st century.
Exactly. And the concept is called people of leisure. Mm-hmm. I can briefly explain what we 23rd century people mean with this. Mm-hmm. Basically, a person of leisure is somebody who is enabled not to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole idea behind it is that you should only work when you like working. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of people who like working. They can go on work the average 3-day work week, or if you're a little crazy like me, sometimes a bit more. Mm-hmm. But if you don't like it, there's no reason why you should. And there's by now a bit of a program, or not a bit of a program, there is a program, People of Leisure, and there's a whole set of AI-defined criteria that identifies individuals who are much better suited not working. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, exactly. People who would be exactly well suited to being a person of leisure.
Yeah, exactly. Think I explained it properly like this?
I think so.
And there's a reason why we bring it up.
As always, it's tying into our own personal lives. You know, we're not so selfless. So one of us has been selected as eligible to be a person of leisure. And of course, we'll save the reveal of who that is until the end of the episode.
Yes, we're putting it in a teaser again.
Mm-hmm. We're doing some kind of structural stuff here.
And also, I mean, we often speak about technology or technology-related topics. I don't think there's any real... I mean, maybe the AI-defined set of criteria is a little technology, but essentially this is more about the society. Yeah. And I know when this program was established, so it's not 200 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when it was established. So this is a relatively new thing. I mean, it's there for a few decades now.
Yeah, I mean, the term person of leisure, I think, that name for this program is taken from an idea that's much older. So maybe the concept of a person of leisure existed 200 years ago, but it existing as this social program did not.
Yeah. And they then adopted it. And I have to say that I really like the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a wonderful one.
Exactly. For me, it really feels weird if...
I mean, the people in the past were forced to work.
Yeah.
That they had no choice.
Exactly. I mean, forced by society.
By society, by circumstances.
Yeah.
In order to live in a place and buy food to eat, and not just food, but like things that you need, the only way to get that was to work.
And also, I mean, if you didn't work, right, there were social programs.
But those programs were intended to help you get a job.
Yeah.
Like the point was everyone should be working. And while there were things to help people, the goal of those things was to help people work more.
And then the overarching idea was, if you don't have a job, you're unlucky. Let's help you get back. And
for some people that was very helpful because they did want to work and they couldn't work, meaning so they couldn't find a job. And so it was very helpful to have such programs that helped them find a new job because that's what they wanted to do. Perfect. And it was unfortunate for people who really would have benefited from not working.
Yes.
Even if they didn't know that as a concept, because they're living in a culture, in a society where that's not even a possibility. Yeah. Okay, so they have in mind they must get a job. How else will they be a good functioning member of society? Mm-hmm. But actually they would have benefited greatly from not being forced to work.
Yeah, but I also think, as far as I understand, especially in the 21st century, life was defined by your job. If you would ask somebody, hey, what are you? They would not say...
For the vast majority of people.
I'm a Dutch person, or I'm a son, or I'm somebody who likes science fiction. They would say, I'm an engineer, or I'm a senior program inspector, or whatever.
Yeah. We can come back to that because that's one of the criteria for determining who is eligible is when asked that question, how do they answer?
How do you answer? Yeah. But yeah, so that's a little bit unpersonalized. That used to be a very unpersonalized approach, where everybody is the same. And if you didn't have a job, as far as I understood, like if you're young, it's basically waiting until you get a job.
Right.
And also if you're in a relationship, which one of you has to have a job? Both of you do you have to have a job? You constantly have to worry about this. And especially if you didn't have a job, it would constantly come up with, hey, when you're getting one again, or why don't you have one? It was never normal.
Not for an extended length of time anyway.
Yeah.
Like a few months holiday, sure, that's a really nice thing to do. But like not indefinitely.
Sabbatical. I mean, as far as I understood, there were exceptions longer ago where people were basically supported by like royalty, like a baron or a king or whatever. It was like, this is a very smart person or a person who's very good at not working. I will just make sure he gets fat so he can just, play music or sing a song or write poems or tell a story.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same. But yeah, so there's the People of Leisure program.
Right, which is what we're talking about today. We went on a bit of a deep dive there on the background of the past. The program, the People of Leisure program now, it's something voluntary.
Yep.
So it would be pretty strange if it was not. People who qualify for it get a message at the right moment in their life that they qualify for it and that they can apply to actually pursue a life of no work.
I really like it. So you don't have to basically do tests or apply or even know that the program exists. There's a lot of criteria. There's a lot of automations in place. And at one point you get the message saying, hey, you apply for the program. And some people go, yes, of course. And some people don't even know about it, don't even realize that they are a perfect fit for not working. Right. And some people go like, yeah, this was obvious. This was about time I got the invitation.
No, but folk are like, it could be the thing for them, but actually they're really enjoying what they're doing in their job, in their career. And so they, take it into consideration maybe for something in the future, but they're not going to do anything more with that information now.
Yeah, that's also the nice thing. The moment that you are being reached out to, you can apply at any point. You can wait a couple of minutes, or you can wait a couple of years. The invitation is
a couple of decades. It's for the rest of your life. Yeah,
exactly. And also, even if you then apply, it's basically you have to fill in some forms, and then you get into the program. You can also opt out at any point, and also opt back in at any point.
I mean, there's been some talk. Why have this whole process? Why not simply have it that everyone is eligible at any point in their life? You don't need to wait for an invitation, as it were. Maybe that'll come. Right now, this is the setup.
Yeah, and it kind of works because for some people it's really, it's at the right time. Maybe you start out, and at one point you change, you have more life experience. At one point you are at a certain point in your life where, okay, now you would be a perfect person of leisure.
Right, you've learned how to relax. You're not, when you're ostensibly relaxing, you're not worrying, what will I do at work tomorrow? But rather you're in the moment and actually enjoying not working. Yeah.
And what I find interesting, where I knew of the program, but until one of us got the invitation or the application, I hadn't really researched it or basically...
You knew of it as a thing in the world, and that was as far as you knew about it.
But then we looked into it a little bit more because we thought, hey, let's talk about it on the show. And nobody really knows what all the criteria are.
Right, because they are defined by AI rather than by, a group of people discussing and writing them down. So it's a bit opaque. Yep. And some of them have basically through data, so meaning looking at the people who've it's been offered to, looking at what's common between those people. Yep. Okay, maybe some criteria have been reverse engineered, and they're pretty strange.
Yes. And of course we have quite a lot of people of leisure, right? So there's a lot of data to use to figure out what the real criteria are. Yeah. But as considering what I found, there's only one real criterion that I understand, which is you need to be really good at not working.
Right, that's like a straightforward one, yeah.
But
like you could imagine that even if there wasn't this opaque list, you could imagine, that probably wouldn't really make sense to offer it to someone who was really stressed out by not working, who made their life worse.
Exactly, but you could also consider that to be the only criterion, but apparently there
are additional ones.
Exactly,
because
but I mean, it's like for me to be really good at not working sounds easy, but it's not.
Not for some folk, that's true.
It's there's a lot of people that have trouble with not working. It's really it's harder to not work than to work, because if you're at work and your work is I don't know, blowing up balloons, whatever, then
blowing, like making them larger, or blowing up like exploding.
Making them larger.
Yeah.
Inflating balloons.
Inflating. That's the
it.
word. Yeah.
If your job is balloon inflator.
Yeah.
Senior balloon inflator. If that's your job, you get up in the morning, you have your coffee, you grab your balloons and you inflate 20, 200, 2,000 balloons, whatever, and then ding dong, your job is done for the day and that's it. Yeah. It's super easy. Somebody has defined what your job is. Maybe you have defined it yourself, whatever, but then it's easy. To not work means you have to decide everything. Do I read a big book? Do I watch a movie? Do I go walking? Do I meet friends? Millions of possibilities. And then it's really hard.
Sure, there's so much choice.
Exactly. And also, do you now go to the beach and lay in a hammock the whole day? Or maybe 2 days straight? Do you get up to get another cocktail? Or do you stay in the hammock? Whatever. All these micro decisions that only you have to make, it's definitely underestimated how hard this is. So if you are a person of leisure, you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's why.
And it's a skill that you can develop, of course.
Yeah, true.
Which is why maybe that's the reason that it's not offered to people, that everyone just is automatically eligible for it, that it's offered or made possible at the point when you reach that stage of your life.
Exactly. So this is just learned by experience. And of course, we have 3-day work weeks in most cases. So you do have a 5-day weekend and then
4-day weekend. 5-day weekend's the dream, yeah.
Right. Less 3 plus. Yeah, you're right. So, all right.
It's been in the news lately of reducing it to a 2-day work week and a 5-day weekend. I think that's why maybe
there's some good experiments. Yeah. For me, I rarely have weekends that last longer than 3 days at the moment.
For yourself, yeah.
But there are some other criteria, right? That besides being really good at
the ones that have been reverse engineered that seem a bit more strange. So, like the first one is, or the first of these is that your surname needs to rhyme with a flower.
Yeah. That's apparently it's.
Looking at the data,
100% match.
Yeah.
Which means that I don't think we've ever mentioned our surnames on the show.
No.
But this explains that theoretically only one of us could actually qualify.
Exactly.
What I like, there are a lot of.
We're not going to say all of them now. Yeah, we'll just say a few.
The one I particularly liked is you need to have lived in a brook for some time.
Yeah. Not next to.
No.
In
a brook. And in this case, both of us.
Sure.
Would have
both of us have. Yeah.
I think
I was a frog for a while there. Used my sideboard chip, turned myself into a big old frog, lived in a brook for a few months.
We even shared a brook once, right?
Yeah, right. I think, long ago now.
Yeah. Of course there were bunk beds, but especially, the brook was basically between the bunk beds and a bathroom. So.
Yeah. And then, I'll say one, last one for myself at least, that you need to prefer the cover versions of songs over the originals.
I thought that was very particular.
Yeah.
And the data shows that that is actually the case.
Exactly that. The data shows it, and it seems strange. What's the correlation there?
Exactly. That's the thing. So there's some unexplained correlation, but the correlation is clear, and maybe it is because you are a really good person of a leisure. Because of that, you prefer cover songs, or the other way around. That's basically the starting point. Yeah. Once you start preferring cover songs over the originals, you have reached a point in your life that I don't know. It's like there is a correlation.
Yeah, you're no longer. I think all of us when we were teenagers, maybe we were a bit more pretentious about music. We think, I got to have the authentic sound, the authentic voice, and so on. You get a bit older, you're like, hey, the music sounds good, whatever.
That could be the case, so there's a few questions that we had once we were reading the invitation, right? So,
right. Some things to clarify.
Yeah, they were mentioned that you can get out at any point if you want.
Once you've become a person of leisure, if you at any point want to become a person of work, I guess there isn't really a title for it. But basically, if you want to have a job again, you can.
Yeah. But the other question that we had was, can we swap? So basically,
right, exactly. That the one of us who got it,
exactly, and then and then you can have it for a while and so on.
Mm-hmm. It's non-transferable.
Yeah, it's personal. Mm-hmm. So also,
if I had been the one, we cannot swap it. Is the point?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that I particularly wondered about, like, if you are a person of leisure, which means you have basically a 7-day weekend, right? Mm-hmm. You, whatever other people are doing in their weekends, you do it all the time.
Yeah,
you spread it out more, or you do just more of it.
Exactly. Or you take on, do other things even in addition, not work, but other leisure-related things.
Exactly. But in some cases, if you have friends who still work, and then it's, let's say, a Tuesday or so, and then you want to do social stuff, but everybody's working.
Yeah. So, I mean, the main thing is people of leisure have more friends.
True.
So that they can spend time with people on their days off, because people work different days of the week, staggered. So, exactly. Some days of the week you can't spend time with certain friends because they're busy, either with work or other commitments. Okay, but you spend time then with your friends who are available that day.
True.
So it leads to larger groups of friendship circles. I'm not sure of the word there, but either way,
herds of friends,
herds,
flocks,
flocks, prides.
Okay, colonies, friend colonies. Okay.
More friends in general is the point. Not to have so few of them that it becomes an issue that you can't spend time with.
But they also have like get-togethers for people of leisure, right?
Yeah, I think it's especially used for people who are new to it.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's at least from looking up, doing a bit of research. It seems to be, when people first start their life with leisure, they are suited to it. They know how to not work. It's all good. There's still the practicalities of so it's useful to meet up with other people.
It's a bit of an onboarding process, right? So you get a mentor, somebody who's been a person of leisure for a long time. They explain you some tricks and but then also, as far as understood, you make some new friends because there will be some other new people of leisure. You get to know them in the onboarding program. Yeah. Often you kind of keep meeting up. It's like
And the nicest thing about all of this, or one of the really good things about all of this, is that you have so much time to use to form friendships.
Yeah,
like to find friends, but then really to build those friendships, those relationships, instead of it being something you squeeze in after work or squeeze in on the weekend. That it's not, even though you would like to spend your time on that, you can't because you're doing other stuff. No, it's flipped. You really can spend as much of your time as you want and as the other people want to build those friendships.
And it also, what I like is when, let's say you want to go do yoga on Wednesday morning, there will be other people of leisure that will have time to join you.
Yeah.
And other people are working or busy with whatever their life makes them do. But if you know enough people of leisure, there's always somebody who has time. Yeah. Because they don't fill their free time with stuff. No. They go do stuff, but they're flexible. A lot of time they're just not doing anything or can quickly change.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be some planning, of course, especially with friends who do have more rigid time scales, not scales, shaped calendars, like that they have only certain days they can do things. Okay, that will then make it a little bit more rigid, but exactly, there's so much flexibility around that.
Yeah. They're like flock calendars.
Yeah.
Herd calendars.
I think we went with pride, but
pride planning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I particularly like, the community, the people of leisure community, and you can. That's also the nice thing, of course. People of leisure, they meet with other people of leisure, but it's not exclusive.
Right.
So just if you are a working person, but you still want to do Wednesday morning yoga, you can join the people of leisure. There's always people of leisure who always have time and go do fun stuff. So even if I have the Wednesday morning with most of my friends working, I can still join the people of leisure. I can do this now already because there's always stuff going on. A poetry reading or a movie watching or just sitting on the river with your feet in the water.
Yeah. And actually, one final thing. So I think all of the things we've spoken about so far, at least the vast majority, I think they're things that suit both of us well because they're social things, interacting with other people. And of course, there are some folk who really, for them, the perfect idea of relaxation is to be by themselves. Yep. So either at home or by a river or out in the forest, but either way, having the time to themselves and really being able to just think and feel things without distractions.
Yep.
And of course, being a person of leisure affords that too. It's not that you're forced to spend time with other people when you don't want to.
Exactly. I mean, that's also why it needs a bit of practice, to decide by myself what I like most, what do I like the most today.
Yeah.
But I think the...
and especially if you've, for example, grown up with the idea that you should feel guilty about not spending time with people, basically coming to accept, nope, there's no obligation there.
Nope. There's no obligation whatsoever. So basically, when you wake up in the morning, you can decide to wake it up or not.
Yeah.
Do I have pancakes for breakfast or a glass of water? Do I go running? Do I go watch a movie in the morning? Do I go running at midnight? Your choice.
Exactly. And especially some folk who, we talked about the onboarding process, some folk go through a period of a year, 2 years, 3 years where because they were so overstimulated before, that for those first couple of years there, they really take the opportunity to completely disconnect. And then after 2 or 3 years, they're like, oh, actually, spending time with friends, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, that's also a nice thing too.
Yeah. But what I like it is that, of course, it's not mandatory either way, which means people who like working don't have to feel guilty not having, not spending enough on their time on their free time. The other way around, people of leisure don't feel guilty for not working.
Correct.
So that's the way how the society is set up right now, that both sides are completely comfortable and accept each other.
It's a wonderful world.
It's the 23rd century. Yay.
I think our listeners in the 21st will appreciate this.
Just imagine where we are in the 24th century.
Oh, wow.
Just imagine.
Yeah, we might live long enough.
76
years from now, we'll see.
Let's see about that. Yeah. Cool. People of leisure. Hold on.
One last thing.
I was going to go to the listener questions,
but there's one thing we teased at the start, that one of us has been selected.
We have to reveal.
We do need to reveal. We don't need to. We said we would, so it would be polite to do so. Drum roll?
Yes.
It's me.
Hey, it's Simon.
It's me. I really am perfectly suited to not working, and I'm very glad to accept this. And I figured here, right on the show, let me tap okay.
Yes.
Obviously I read the stuff, we did the research for the show, but I waited to actually confirm that I wanted to become a person of leisure until just now.
I mean, the listeners can't see it, but I can.
But I'll bring up my lens here. Here we go, and I'm going to bring up the what's it called? Anyway, here you go.
Listeners, I can see it.
Yep, and I'm going to tap
big red button.
Yep, and
all right, there's a check mark.
Yep.
Congratulations.
There we go.
So my confetti, I brought some confetti, so listeners can't see it, but yay!
It's all sprinkling up in the air and feels good. I tell you what.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you'll have plenty of time now to clean up the confetti.
I will use my teleporter for that, but yes.
Wow, this is a nice milestone.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on sabbatical for a while now.
Yes. It won't make much of a difference.
Day to day, it won't make so much of a difference, no. But I really appreciate, sabbatical by definition is a limited term thing, and now this is open-ended. Yeah,
exactly. So I guess makes a mental difference.
Exactly. 20 years from now, if I feel like working again, I will, but there's no obligation, there's no necessity for me to do so. And
also, I like it because it matches what we mentioned before. I wouldn't be looking forward to it.
No, for you, this would be, you wouldn't accept it, of course, but if somehow you were made to do this, it would be really bad.
Exactly. If I would get it now, at the moment I still have to balance 2 jobs, which is a bit stressy, but if I would now get a message saying, hey, how about you don't do anything anymore, I would feel restless. I would feel a little bit stressed out about having the offer. Sure. And I'm happy that you got it.
Yeah, no, definitely. look forward to many more years of doing what I have been doing during my sabbatical.
Cool. I mean, the thing is, we could, in a future episode, report back on it. So how's your, leisure time going? But it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Not for our listeners, because we only started this show 2.5 years ago. I was already on sabbatical, so...
True, yeah. But if there's anything in particular coming up about it...
Hey, for all I know, 5 years from now, I will start feeling restless. I will want a job. Who can say?
Or maybe some really interesting things happened just because of this. Because maybe the onboarding program is interesting. Maybe you meet some interesting people or have some new...
different perspectives, because I have my reasons for liking the idea and looking forward to it. People may have different ones.
Yeah.
So, listener email?
Listener email.
Okay, so here we go. Rania A wrote, "Hi Simon, hi Dirk. I just listened to episode 155 and the bit about the bakery made me really hungry. I think I'm going to get a piece of cake. Do you like cake? If so, what's your favourite cake? See you in 200 years, Rania."
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the question.
Yeah. We did talk about a bakery. They have cake.
Yes, exactly. Bakery, especially the one in episode 155. That's the one here in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
The Backmanufaktur. Mm-hmm. So for me, I have 3 favorite cakes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So first, Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a cream chocolate cherry cake.
Yeah.
And then the second one is Fly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that. What's that?
It's a typical Dutch. It's more like more pie than a cake, I guess. Has fruit in it, and then dough lines crossing it.
I think I've seen
regional specialty in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. This is really good, either with cherries or apricots or so on. Yeah. And the third one is slagroomtaart.
Cream pie.
Cream pie, yeah.
But
then the Dutch version of cream pie, I guess, which has 2 really good applications. One being eaten, and 2 being thrown.
Yeah.
Yes.
And clowns catching them with their faces.
Yes, because the Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte and Fly, they're not really good for throwing.
No, I mean, for throwing's fine, but not so much for catching with your face.
Yeah, that's true. And slagroomtaart is perfect for that.
Yeah.
So what's your...
Frankfurter Krantz. The one with the... so it's got the cream and then the crunchy stuff around the edges. You've not had it? We live in Frankfurt. It's
We live in Frankfurt and I don't even know.
You've not had it? Okay, no, it's really good.
Really? Mm-hmm. Shall we get one from the Congo?
Yeah, that's right now or after we record?
After we record.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Rania, for the question.
Exactly. And our listeners, please send us an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com and put the number 170 into the subject line. And then you too can ask us, well, maybe don't ask us about a favourite cake, but ask us anything else you like. And the reason we want the number 170 in the subject is so that we know this episode successfully went back in time.
All right. Then thanks for listening and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.
So, they went well, I think.
Yeah.
But I did still have some mispronunciations in the beginning.
Occasionally, yeah.
I can't seem to get one episode without...
It's the thing with saying 169th, 170th. That thing, yeah? Putting usually it's a TH, but sometimes an ND or an RD.
I mean...
What's that like in Dutch? Because in English, sure, I grew up with that, so I'm used to it, but...
It's...
Is it always the same ending? Or do you just not even say
No, it's also very different.
Okay.
Tweede, derde, vierde, vijfde, zesde, zevende.
But sure, you grew up with those, so then those come naturally, and the English ones are weird.
Yes, and also this, 170th, of course the listeners won't hear it, but, I had to redo that 5 times.
Yeah, right, you kept missing out a syllable. So
117th, 170th, and then only until you pointed out 170th. Yeah, okay. But whatever. It's, But I think it was a good thing to close the door.
Yeah. I think, sometimes we've had too much background noise, like people speaking outside, walking past. I think hopefully it was quieter today.
Yeah. I remember a few episodes ago where the people in the hallway were screaming.
That was really loud, yeah. And I mean, okay, we were in the middle of the episode. I didn't want to get up and close the door, but maybe it would have been a good idea to.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine anyway. It's fine if the listeners can, it's like...
Well, it would have been a bad thing if, the people in the hallway were saying things. It was fine. I think it was impossible to hear what they were actually saying.
I almost stumbled over a squirrel the other day outside your door.
Oh.
And I mean, it was just sitting there and staring at me.
Ah, okay.
So it's not, it was not like it was sick or anything. It was just sitting outside your door and staring at me and going like, hey, this hallway isn't...
big enough for the both of us?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I've not seen squirrels inside so often.
No, they're more outside creatures.
But yeah, so it kind of went to the side when I kind of tried to pass it, but it wasn't shy.
It wasn't like foaming at the mouth or anything yet?
No.
Okay.
You ever seen a squirrel in your hallway?
I've not, no. That is unusual. Like if one of my neighbours was a squirrel, I'd be used to that, but it's not a thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at the time. I need to catch the teleporter.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I have hoverboard training in a... Wow.
Oh, in 1 minute, you best get going. Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. See you next week.
All right. Ciao.
Yep. Bye-bye.